Hey everyone, it's Megan with the CraftyPlannerLovR here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we are going to be planning in my B6 reading planner for To Sir Phillip with Love. So this is Eloise's story from the Bridgerton series. It is all about her and her independence and finding her true love, and I think it's super cute. This was a very good book for me. I actually really enjoyed it. So for this, we're going to be using my go-to script washi that I got from Temu, as well as some items that I got off of, oh gosh, I can't remember. It's a free clip art website. I don't remember what it's called, but I will do some research and put it in the description box for you so you guys can see. Some of these were limited time for only during, I keep kicking the camera, I'm so sorry. Some of these are limited time for only during Penelope's story was coming out on Netflix, and I actually got like a ton of stickers from this clip art website, so I don't know if all of them are available, but I can guarantee you Benedict's is probably going to be available soon because they just finished filming Benedict's story and Netflix posted about it. So I have a feeling that they'll be on there, but these are the things, words are hard, that I got from the clip art website, and I'm going to be using them. There's a ton of cute ones here. There's some bees because those are like pretty, you know, thematic in the story. Then I thought that the carriage, I think this is actually from Penelope and Colin's story, but I thought it fit well with the theme of this story as well. Eloise loves books, so I thought this would be good. She wrote letters to Sir Phillip. And then I thought that the little other thematic elements would be cute to add. So that is all the items we're going to be using for this book review, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, let's talk about To Sir Phillip with Love. As you guys know, I am very obsessed with the Bridgerton books. I love the series that they've done on Netflix, and I cannot wait to see how they have adapted Eloise's story. To be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of how they portrayed Eloise in the show. I love the actress, she's amazing, but she seems a little bit too headstrong in the show, and I don't like how they portrayed her in Colin and Penelope's story, but I do like Book Eloise. Book Eloise is perfect. Like, she is just the perfect kind of headstrong, and I absolutely love that about her. And I actually really liked Eloise's story. She's been my favorite strong, like, open-minded, opinionated, talkative person. She kind of reminds me of myself, which is why I think I liked her story the best. So, a little bit of an explanation, and I'm gonna talk about some spoilers here, so this is your official spoiler warning. If you don't want to know what happens in this book, don't continue watching this. Put this video on mute, and put it in 2x speed so you guys can still watch me plan, but you won't get spoiled by what happens in the book. You guys remember Marina, right? If you've seen the show, then you know who Marina is. She is the person in, I believe it was season 2, where she and Colin were supposed to be like this thing, and she ends up being pregnant, and the person that she was supposed to, I can't remember his name for the life of me, but her affianced was actually killed in the war, and Sir Phillip is her affiance's brother. So that's where Sir Phillip comes into play. You basically, like, he's a gentleman. He doesn't want to leave her, you know, uncared for without a man, because back then, you know, that was frowned upon. And he marries her, and she unfortunately dies. I'm not going to go into the details because it was actually pretty, it's kind of triggering to read about, like, how she goes through a really bad amount of depression. So I'm not really going to go into that. If you want to know more about that, you can always Google it if you don't want to read the book. But she goes into a really bad depression and she ends up dying. So Sir Phillip is left alone with his 2 kids, and he's like, oh no, I need a mother for my kids. He's obviously in mourning because he's in mourning for Marina, but he doesn't really mourn Marina, if you understand what I mean, because he never really, like, he cared for her, he felt for her, he felt like she was his responsibility, but he never really loved her. So you find out more about his inner thoughts and, like, how he feels about her in the book. He talks about it, but that's the explanation for it. So because Marina stayed in, I believe they were cousins, Marina and the Bridgertons. or maybe they were just like really close friends. They talk about it a little bit in the book, but I can't remember like what their exact relationship with the Bridgertons is. Maybe because Marina and Colin were like supposed to be a thing. Long story short, Eloise, you know, hears about the death of Marina. She writes Sir Phillip a condolence letter. She's like, yo, I'm so sorry about, you know, Marina. She seemed like a dear person. I apologize for that. And Sir Phillip is like, oh my gosh, somebody wrote me a condolence letter. I know who this is. And so he starts writing back to her. And basically, long story short, they get into a whole like back and forth conversation, and Philip's like, this is the woman for my kids. He doesn't think about like, oh, this is a perfect wife for me. He thinks this is the perfect woman for my children. So he proposes to her through letter. This kind of freaks Eloise out. She's not quite sure if she wants to do it. So she runs to meet him just out of the blue, because you know how she is. Even in the show, she kind of has like a headstrong personality and she thinks before she acts. So she leaves without a chaperone. Oh my gosh, scandalous. And she goes to Sir Philip's like home estate, and they basically like get to know each other through that. So long story short, that's how they fall in love, and it's really cute. Like I said, I absolutely love Eloise's story. She is so headstrong, and like they challenge each other in like the perfect way. And I wrote that in my little final thoughts. She is just such an amazing person, but I did at the beginning think Philip and Eloise were a weird match. I was not quite into their matchmaking, but I was like, you know, let's just see how it goes. And I'm glad I did, because it was really good. If you guys watched my Bridgerton with Benedict story book review, you know that I was like kind of bored at the beginning because it reminded me too much of Cinderella. This kind of had that Cinderella trope too. However, it was very different. Like it was a very different kind of trope. I don't really do tropes, so if you see when I do my book reviews, I kind of write that trope section out because I don't really, that is not something that I look for in a book. I actually just like read the, you know, back portion of the book or like the summary of the book and think, oh, okay, cool, I want to read this. That's how I pick my books. Anyways, off the subject. I did want to say it is very interesting. The more I read Julia Quinn's books, it's very interesting how she writes the men. I see that they always have like a unique, unquenchable desire. All of the men are written like that, and it makes me like, it kind of makes me a little physically ill, because like I understand that it's the time frame, like that's the time period that we were in where women were seen as like objects and not actual people. But it just makes me a little uncomfortable how they talk about how like they have a burning desire that cannot be quenched, and like they go to brothels and stuff like that just kind of makes me unsettled. But I understand that like she's writing for that time period. I hope that she's not writing with her own thoughts in mind as far as how men go, because women are definitely not objects. I understand that's the time period, so I kind of have to remember that when I'm reading a book like this. I have to remember, Megan, this is the time period that they were in. People thought a lot of different ways back then. You just have to, you know, understand that this was how women were viewed back then. So that's the only thing that I think I didn't like about the story, was just the way that the time period was viewed. But other than that, I really, really loved this book, and I thought it was really like fun. Alright everyone, that is it for my book review on To Sir Philip with Love. I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you found it interesting. I actually really like the way I decorated it. It's very timey, and the script fits Eloise super well because she loves reading. That's why I included the books, because she's just very in love with books. If you like this video and you want to see more from me, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to see more of my book reviews, I have a planner playlist where it says reading planner. You can check out all of the different things that I've done in both my current planner, my B6 Rings planner that I started in 2025, and my Temu reading planner, where I had the rest of the Bridgerton books. I had a couple of other book reviews. You guys can see all of those if you're interested in following along with my story. Let me know how you guys like these videos. I have a lot of fun at doing them. I really like doing them, so I'm gonna keep doing them. But like, let me know if this is something that you guys want to see more of. Do you want to see more of my book reviews? Do you want me to do books that I don't necessarily think need a book review? For example, my Gone series by Michael Grant. Do you want to see that? Because like, I know that that's kind of more like a teenager book, but let me know your thoughts. I want to hear what you think. Sorry for the rambling. I just had some coffee, so I'm very hyper. So Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked hearing my thoughts about Eloise's story to Sir Philip with love. And until next time, read on. Bye guys!